What's up, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, this show is always started by being transparent. And yesterday, there was no WNBA, but we did have some, NBA. And I had a winner over 223 and a half. I don't want to say easy. It wasn't easy, but we're never worried. At least I was never worried. I know some people with some sad faces in the first quarter and first half, like, oh my God. I was looking around the casino, some of the people who were on the same side as me. I'm like, man, it's okay. It's all right. It's not, we're not worried until the second half, the second half team. So yeah, happy to cash that ticket. Now I've cashed 11 out of 12 in a row. Vino, good to be back here with you. I think you had a good day as well. Um, Things worked out for you.
Yeah, because I played that over so many ways, Skee, that if it didn't come through, it was going to be trouble. But as we talked yesterday on the show, I thought both team totals were going to get over. They both did. Game total got there. And late addition for clients yesterday was OKC first quarter. They had won every single first quarter up until the last game, the 35-34 Indiana. Just felt like they would come out of the gates quickly like they had in 3 of the 4 previous. They did. Did have a couple losses, though, because I ventured into territory where I just have no business going. That's player props. We talked about Tyrese Halliburton. I was there. I was dead wrong. And I got involved with Chet Holmgren because he, oh God, why did I say it that way? Casey, hope you're not in there. Holmgren's points and rebounds were over 25 and a half. He got to 20, but he didn't shoot the ball well. He's 4 of 15 from the field. Guy's got to make a shot to help me out there. So those were minor plays. Day was good. Big plus side for us yesterday. So happy that it went the way it did.
Yeah, Hallie, man, with calf injury. Shout out to TJ McConnell though, man. You gotta love TJ. There's no way you watch him play and just don't love everything he does as a basketball player. More TJ they're gonna need in that game 6. I guarantee you that. If Halliburton is looking like he was in the previous game. Honestly, they should have put TJ in at the end of that game. I mean, TJ brought the game back close. You put Hallie back in, you saw that league get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Tough for Indiana to be dealing with that right now. But today we're gonna talk WNBA. We got 6 games. A lot of money to be made out there, Mr. Rob Veno. We'll go in rotation order. First up, 6-13, 6-14, Dream and Liberty opened up -8.5 for the Liberty. Looks like, I mean, it's moving a lot right now, but I'll still call it 8.5. Total open 163, kind of still sitting right there. Let's take a look at the injury report. Nobody on there for the Dream, and for the Liberty, Bevic is out. Jonquel Jones is back. So, Rob, we have here a Dream team coming in off 3 straight blowout wins. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much stock I can put into those wins. Like, 2 of them were versus bottom feeders, right? They played Washington, they played the Sky, and then they played a fever team who was missing Caitlin Clark, who been struggling to score. On the other side, we have the Liberty, who are off of their first loss of the season. So to me, it feels a little bit of like too much of a step up in class for the Dream here, and a really bounce back spot for the Liberty as well. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. If Jonquel Jones was not in, I think the Dream would be able to, compete, maybe even win the game just with their front court. But with her in, and they're saying there's no minutes limit, it's hard to look any other way than Liberty and a bounce back for me. More specifically, cut it in half in first half. What do you think?
Well, let's a lot to talk about here, but I will start with your comment about New York first half, because surprisingly, I went and looked this up. Atlanta's been the highest scoring second half team in the WNBA this year. The Atlanta Dream have scored 41 or more points in the second half in every game they've played. They averaged 46.3 in the second half. Slow starters, strong closers. Since Jordan Canada came back 3 games ago, you start to see over the weekend, the two that they played. I mean, they have scoring options all over the floor, right? Ryan Howard was huge one night. Alicia Gray the next night. They just have options at this point in time all over the floor. So I think it's a little bit of a tough cover for New York as well as far as defense is concerned, because now Atlanta's bringing like Naz Hillman off the bench, had double-digit rebounds, and Pow off the bench. I think she had double-digit points the other day. So they're good, 1 through 7. They're really good. But they're going to face, defensively, they're going to face New York. And New York's basically unstoppable, especially, like you said, with Jonquel Jones in the lineup when everybody can shoot threes. New York, the fact that they can shoot threes so well leads them to all of these numbers because they can play inside and out. They rank number 1 in points per game, number 1 in offensive rating, number 1 in points off turnovers, number 1 in fast break points, number 1 in three-pointers per game, number 1 in pace, number 1 in paint field goal percentage. I mean, they're just extremely difficult to defend. I like your angle saying it's a bounce back from the Indiana game, was nationally televised, and it cost New York the lead in the Commissioner's Cup in the East, right? It's a 3-team tie now in Indiana. If Atlanta loses tonight and Indiana wins, Indiana will have the inside track because they beat the Liberty. So huge game for both of these teams. One thing I noted is that Atlanta's only played 4 games out of 11 against top 4 tempo teams. They haven't played anybody really fast. New York's the fastest. And my idea is they're going to have to run a little bit to keep up with New York tonight. They can't drain shot clock against this team. They've played 3 times against Indiana. Like you mentioned, one time was without Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. So you can't even count that. But they allowed 90, 81, and 75 in the other 3 of those games. And Atlanta defensively has given up 94 to Washington, 87 to Seattle, 84 to Connecticut, 82 to LA. It's not a great defensive team. And against this type of pace team that can shoot, I think the 163 is probably a little bit shy. Atlanta's used to defending methodical offenses, not this one. But I think they've got weaponry, certainly, to give New York a couple problems. So I'd like over 163 here, Skee. When the Liberty are winning and winning by margin, they're scoring big. And I think this team, Atlanta's showing us that they can score back a little bit.
All right, Veno, looking at the total a little bit there. Latino Unicorn 99. Appreciate you reposting the stream, helping share the show. Definitely helps us out there. We'll get the word out about a little bit of work me and Veno were doing over here. A little bit more just before I move on to that first half. Liberty are the best first half team as far as point differential. I think it's plus 13.6. They've covered 4 of their last 5. Green, I mean, like you said, much better numbers in the second half, right? They've been slow starters lately. They've only covered 1 of their last 5 first halves. So first half, Liberty 4.5 seems like a solid bet to me. Next game up, we'll go Sun and Fever. This one opened up minus 15.5, now 17.5, and total all over the place really. But open 164.5, it's as high as 167. And if we'd have to take a look, or let's take a look at the injury report. Dewana Bonner out for Indiana. For Connecticut, Marshall and Rivers are game time. Lakin is out. I'm gonna pass this one to you first, Veno, because I feel like me and you were gonna line up, and I usually pass the Connecticut games to you anyway. So curious your thoughts on this one. I have a feeling with the high point spread, you're looking more at the total.
I am, and specifically, Skee, I looked at Indiana team total, 91.5 here. When Caitlin Clark's in the game, they're basically 90 waiting to happen. And you watch that game Saturday, and it just looked like, and I think either you said it to me off air or you said it on air, that you like when a player comes back and isn't on a minutes restriction, is ready to roll. And that whole team had that look in their eye Saturday, like, we got to make up for lost time here now that Caitlin's back, missing 5 games. And Kelsey Mitchell benefited from it. She had a little bit of a struggle without the point guard leading the way. And now they get the worst defensive rated team in the WNBA. If you're just looking at fundamental matchups here where Indiana's superb and Connecticut is terrible, you get the matchup in the paint where Connecticut's last in the league, allowing 38.4 points per game inside the paint. And Indiana's the number 1 scoring team in the paint. So that's a bad matchup, best versus worst. The Sun is the worst defensive rebounding team in the league. And they give up the 4th most points off turnovers. Indiana feasts off second chance points. They're number 1 in the league, and they're 3rd in points off turnovers. So everything Connecticut's bad at, Indiana's really, really good at. And they played this game maybe a week and a half ago in Indiana, same place, without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham. And Connecticut still gave up 83. And they did, their offense really was discombobulated, and they still got 83 against them. So I think there's a little revenge motive there for Indiana. They lost that game by 2 points. And so they don't want to lose to the Sun again. And then I'll bring up the Commissioner's Cup one more time. Indiana with a win here gets sole possession of first at 4-1 because of the tiebreaker situations with the Liberty. And we've said it before, point differential matters in this Commissioner's Cup. So scoring all the way through for 40 minutes is important here. So I'm not too worried about Indiana letting off the gas late. I think, again, if you can get 83 against Connecticut on this floor without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, then you could get to 92. 9 extra points with those 2 on the floor, I think, is relatively easy. Connecticut didn't look good Sunday. It was a 7-day layoff. I get it, but they're just not a good defensive team. And Indiana's pace is probably just going to overwhelm them here with Clark leading the way. So I like team total, Skee, over 91.5.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think, Connecticut does also play again tomorrow. If it does get out of hand, they could put some backups in. But I still think this one can get over the total, like the regular total. A lot of people in the chat don't think Connecticut will be able to score. They're playing Connecticut team total under, but the Fever defense is not great. They're not good at all.
Right.
Matter of fact. So I get Connecticut has struggled to score at times this season, but I'm not willing to just bet on the Fever defense. Like, if I want to bet on the Fever, I'm definitely including the offense. That's my personal opinion. But I think Connecticut has been playing slow, but versus a team like Indiana, like, let me just look here real quick. Connecticut played Chicago, Washington, Atlanta. They did play New York, but New York's defense is so good. I think that they will be fine. They'll be comfortable playing at pace with Indiana, and I think they'll find ways to score just like last time. Like you said, 85 points versus Fever defense. Why can't they do it again here? Over 165.5 is what I took. I can understand if you maybe want to cut it in half, but I like this play up and over the total. I think we can include the Sun in this one. A little bit different from everybody else in the chat. Maybe from you too. You like only the Fever side, but I think they'll contribute. So 165.5 seems like a good bet to me. People in the chat say Fever woodshed spot, 25-point win there. They say firefighter Dav says Clark over 3.5 threes and plus money. B Daddy says with a big double-digit spread, I always play the under in these games. All right, we'll see how it shakes out. Next up, we'll go Aces and Lynx. This one opened up -1.5, it says here, and all the way up to 13. I don't think I ever saw 1.5, but could be mistaken. Total open 163.5, and it's down as low as 161. Who's available here? We know Asia is still out with a concussion. Cheyenne Parker, Tyus Gustafson, same 2 are out. Still no Jessica Shepard and Aubrey Griffin also out. So Veno, God, this is the one that is just frustrating me. Really, Ace has been pissing me off. And I'm gonna be more specific because I think we talked about it off air yesterday.
Yeah.
But Chelsea Gray, to be specific, is just pissing me off, bro. Like, if you have an over, you hate to see Chelsea Gray on the court out there. It's just dribble for 20 seconds. Throw a crazy whatever kind of pass, and somebody got to throw it up, or she throws up a shot. And that's not good when you got the clock ticking and you have an over. With that said, Jackie Young is trustworthy. She can get downhill. She can score from anywhere. She's really the only one I trust to score for the Aces. Jewel Lloyd hasn't even looked consistent or good. She looked like a shell of herself, actually. Now, this Vegas defense is terrible. They've been complete ass, and I don't see that changing, especially with Asia not there to help out in the middle. On the Lynx side, their offense has been amazing. I mean, they lead the league in assists. They've had 3 straight games with 25 plus assists. They just get good shots because they share the ball and play together. So I like everything about the Lynx offense. I think they can take advantage of Vegas defense. It makes me think it's Lynx team total over. I think I saw 86.5. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I already talked myself out of including the aces. But my personal opinion is the Lynx defense is kind of lacking a little bit without Shepherd down there in the paint. Because I'm just looking at the last few games, they've been giving it up too. I mean, they gave up 94, I think, to the Storm. I know they only gave up close to 80 to the Mystics, but I don't think their defense is in the best form right now. Even still, if the Aces are playing the way that they have been, the Lynx can kind of just cut off the paint and force them to shoot jumpers. And not a whole lot of people out there making them. So I guess talking it out, sounds like Lynx team total over 86.5. Or at least that's the last number that I saw. What do you think about this one, Veno?
Yeah, bumped up. People agreeing with you, bumped up to 87.5 now. So obviously there's some other money that likes Lynx team total over. And it's the perfect Skee. They are the perfect example of every time you see a team that's not a fast-paced team, it doesn't mean they can't score. Minnesota's tempo is bottom 3 in the league, but they're so efficient. And like you say, they share the ball and they get such good shots that they're up there at every offensive category you can imagine. So you don't have to be fast to score. Minnesota makes the best of all their possessions, basically. And like you say, you combine that with a bad Las Vegas defense that Becky Hammond has griped about all season long and hasn't been able to do anything about as far as improving it, especially without Asia Wilson. I actually had the Minnesota LA game up and over the total the other day off of the loss to Seattle. And, they come through with 101 and still give up 78. I didn't play this game. I took a look at it. I just ran away from it. I'm not going to argue anybody off of that Minnesota team total because, like you said, Las Vegas just been giving it up to everybody. There's just not any rim protection at all. And Minnesota, I mean, Nafisha Collier could have a field day here. Real quick, they didn't even get a big game out of Kayla McBride the other day. I think Kayla McBride was like 4 for 10, 4 for 11. She didn't have a good shooting day. And they still won by distance, 23 points. Minnesota, I don't have those Commissioner Cup standings right in front of me, but I know they're going after the West here. Seattle had taken a lead, but then Seattle lost to Phoenix. So I think it put Minnesota back in the driver's seat. I don't think they're going to let go of that driver's seat here. If I had to play, it would be something involving Minnesota because you just can't trust Las Vegas at this point. And I don't think Becky's going to get a lot. To tell you the truth, I don't think she's going to get a lot out of this team until Asia Wilson gets back. And even then, they still might be a 5th or 6th place team, even with Asia Wilson at this point. And I don't want to give away a lot of family secrets to the audience, but I'll let you know this because Skee shared with me, his dad not a fan of Chelsea Gray either, watching her play on the court.
Hell no. I'll tell him myself, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, his Father's Day watching the game and stuff. My dad, he really doesn't watch WNBA. I mean, when I'm there watching it with him, he'll watch the games with me, But he was like, we're watching it. He's like, damn, pass the ball hog. He's like, all she does is dribble. And then he says, what do you say? He says, damn. He said, the girl in the pink shoes, what does she even do? She can't shoot. She can't defend. She can't do anything. He's talking about Kia Stokes. So my dad he still knows what he's looking at, even though he doesn't follow the sport. But
that's good stuff.
Can't trust him, man. I just think of that, Veno, and that immediately makes me exclude.
Yeah.
Throw them out. All right. Man, I need some more water. Had a good night last night. You need to rehydrate. All right, Mystics and Sky. Opened up -3 for the Mystics. Looks like 4.5 maybe. Total open 158.5 down to 156. Injury report. Nobody on there for Washington. Mariah Jefferson out for the Sky. I mean, I don't have a lot on this game. Only thing I want to say is this. Well, for one, this is my least favorite game out of all of them. But I think it was very good to see Angel finally being used the way she's probably supposed to be used, especially with this current roster configuration. Like, don't just have her down there banging, trying to score. Like, let her use some of her guard-like skills. Let her play make for others. Let her play make for Cardoso, even Cardoso. I think they're on the right track with that. It was a nice win for them. They're at home again, catching points. Like, I don't ever think Washington should be laying. That's where I'm kind of saying here. So just because of what I saw in that last game, and Washington shouldn't be laying Chicago at home, I'll lean towards Sky, but not confident enough to really press confirm right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I did this video for Wager Talk earlier, Skee, and I leaned the other way, shortened the game, played Washington first half -2. I think it's been bumped to 2.5 now. A couple of reasons why, and I totally agree. I don't know. I don't have a bunch of history books to look this stuff up, but I've never really seen a player turn 2 for 7 from the field into a triple-double. But that's what Angel Reese did the other day. Made all 7 of her free throws to get her the points. Got the rebounds and the assists. To your point, I watched that game against Connecticut on Sunday, and she was kind of stationed foul line a lot of times, distributing almost like a point forward for other players. The 11 assists were a real first. I think her career high had been 6. So they are utilizing her. The question has to be everything that happened against Connecticut on a 7-day layoff Sunday. Are they going to replicate that? Connecticut's a 2-8 lousy team. Like I said, they had 7 days off. They showed some rust. Washington had the same 7 days off and got destroyed by Atlanta at home on Sunday. So I think Washington has a motivation here to now they got 2 games. They'll have 2 games under their belt in 3 days, maybe back in the groove after the rustiness. But when I look at their 3 leading scorers, Sonia Citron, Kiki Arifan, and Brittany Sykes, those 3, the top scorers for that team, went 6 of 27, 22% against the Dream. I just don't see that happening again. They've been too good this year, those 3 together. And I do think I blame a little bit or attribute a little bit of that to the 7-day layoff. Now they get a little step down in class. The Dream, we know, are a better defensive team than Chicago is. And again, without Courtney Vandersloot, is Angel Reese going to be an 11-assist person every day? Is Ariel Atkins going to knock down shots the way she did the other day? Your favorite player, Haley Van Lith, had a strong day the other day. I don't know that that's good. A lot of things went right against a bad basketball team. Chicago's got 3 wins this year. 2 of them are against Dallas. They're 1-11. The other one's against Connecticut. They're 2-8. They've lost 7 games. Every time they lost, it's been by 13 or more points. They're not even close in these losses. So it looked nice on Sunday. I'm just not buying into that being repeated here against a team that probably has a little smoke coming out of their ears after what happened to them on Sunday. And in fact, Washington attracted a lot of money on Sunday. And that's the side that people were betting against the Dream, and it was never close. I think Washington probably comes out quick in this game. If you go to first half numbers, ATS, you're not going to find Washington as a good first half team. I know that in the past that's been a go-to, right? Mystics first half. It's not a go-to this year. I just think the situation and the spot dictates them being able to, come out quick, come out early, and win that game by 3 or more points in the first half. So that's the way I played it. Mystics first half, -2, 2.5.
All right, we'll keep it going. Next up, we have the Valkyries and the Wings. Wings opened up -1.5. They're as high as a 4 right now. And total hasn't moved too much, 164.5. Who's available?
Nobody.
Who is available? 5 people out for the Valkyries. Van Loo, Xander Lassini, Salawan. I can never say his name, even whenever I try, so I'm just not going to try. Timmy Fag Bonley, I just don't say it right. and I don't necessarily watch the games with the volume on. Like I listen to music, so it is what it is. Um, Dallas, McCowan is out, Seegers is out. You know what I'm going to say, or maybe at least you know where I'm going to start. I mean, first thing that jumps off the page to me is Dallas is a favorite in this game. I mean, they've won one game all season. They've lost 7 in a row, right? They got to be favored for a reason. So I'm digging and digging and digging, trying to figure out what that reason is. And what I got to was the injury report. My bad here. Yeah, the injury report with all the players out, one game time decision. That's one thing for them. The Wings do also have the rest advantage. They're at home, and the Wings, they were just like, I mean, they were up double digits with a few minutes left. They just sat on the ball and got too conservative. They could have won that last game. So it makes me think of how my guy, usually Jay Money, say they're teetering on a loss. I think teetering on a win. Like the Wings are not going to lose every single game this season, and this seems like a prime spot, especially with the Valkyries coming off a big win, big upset win, and double-digit underdog. I think that's a letdown, and I think the Wings, after the way they lost that game, come out here and play for the full 40 minutes. So I personally got in on the Wings to just win. What do you think about this game,
Well, I think the reason for the increase in the line was Enrique was questionable, and as soon as she was announced in, that game shot up to Dallas -3. So people playing the fact that Enrique's on the floor here. I don't know if she participated in shoot around yesterday. There was some question as to whether or not she was going to play, but then they cleared her. So that's probably the reason for the line move. For Golden State, Skee, it's crazy how many international players they have on that team that have just gone to go play for their home country here. Temi being the latest, going to play for Great Britain. It's a lot. You look at what's left on that roster, and it's not very much. And they changed. I don't know if this is a conscious decision or it was just a product of the game, but Golden State didn't play fast. The way they've told us they're going to play really fast and shoot threes. They shot threes when they beat Seattle the other night. They shot threes the way they've shot them all year long, miserably. 3 of 18. It's a 28% shooting team from three-point range, yet they still chuck them up. At some point, it'll come back to bite them. Can they slow Dallas down, who plays with pace? I'm not sure. I don't think Golden State wants to get involved in that type of game. I could not find a good way to play this one at all. So I'm just going to cut it right here. I didn't play the game. I'm with you. I don't really want to lay it with Dallas. When I look at Dallas, I only play them one way. Either it's always some form of total. And I'm not even sure that this game's going to get to 165, just not knowing if Golden State, because their depth has been cut so massively by the five players who have gone overseas now, that it may just be a conscious effort to slow the game down. We don't have enough players. Let's not run the way we were running. And they can't shoot threes, even though Dallas is a miserable defensive team. I don't know if the Golden State's going to make anything. So I don't know. I just don't have a good way to play that one.
All right, we'll move it over to the last game, Storm and Sparks. Big move here. Says it open -1.5 for Seattle, all the way up to 9. Total has dropped from 162.5 to 155, I'll say, as a consensus. Injury report, right? Here we go. So we do know for the Sparks, they've had Burrell and Cameron Brink out for a while. Then you have Julie Alleman, who missed the last game. She's out again this game. Odyssey Sims missed the last game. She's out again. Kelsey Plum out. They're missing their starting guards. And I mean, I put a tweet out there the other day just asking anybody if they can just please explain to me, what does Sarah Barker do well at all? Like, it's just turnovers. She doesn't do anything good to me. And she's going to be the starting point guard for the Sparks today. Sparks defense has also been ass. They've been just giving it up left and right. I think 89 plus in their last 3 games. Storm coming off that's the other side of that Valkyrie game, I believe, right? They lost as huge favorites. So this is a big bounce back spot for them. They only got to 70 points. Now they face this soft defense. I think the Storm can. I think the Storm can win this game either way because I think the Sparks really are going to struggle to score without the guard play. So I personally took this Storm earlier at a much better number, 4.5. But I still think they're going to win by double digits. And I think maybe at the current price, maybe Storm team total, that could be worth a look. I'm not mad at the Sparks team total under either. How do you see it, Veno?
I agree with just about everything you said. I like the play I like the most here is probably the Storm team total because the full game total got reduced. That starts a domino effect where both team totals get reduced. So the Storm gets a little bit of value added to them because their number gets reduced and they don't have an injury on the floor and they've got a bounce back situation here. Like you say, we talked about since they inserted Erica Wheeler into the lineup, they had another person that could create, another player that could create off the dribble. Erica Wheeler and Gabby Williams, who had played really good the couple of games before, were terrible on Saturday against Golden State. It must be something with Seattle about going to Golden State because they haven't played well there in their 2 visits this year. But they shot terribly. They were combining for 31 points a game. Like you said, the Sparks defense, so soft. 10th or worse in 4 major defensive categories. Gave up 101 on Saturday to Minnesota. Both the 2 ball handlers, again, like you mentioned, Odyssey Sims and Kelsey Plum. Now you're going to put it in Ashley Barker's hands, Sarah Ashley Barker's hands. And the only other option in this game is 36-year-old Shea Petty. They just don't. Seattle, they force a lot of turnovers, Seattle, and they score a lot of points off of turnovers. And I could see LA being a turnover machine tonight. So their best players are on the front line for Los Angeles, but they don't necessarily ball handle. I could see Seattle getting a lot of cheap points here, Skee, on top of what they'll probably score against the LA defense tonight in other aspects of the game. I like the way their offense has been playing since Erica Wheeler was inserted in there up until that last game. So for me, I wouldn't argue anybody off playing Seattle in any way, shape, or form. But for me, I just think the best way to go is up and over 81.5 points, their team total.
I like it. Good stuff. Shout out to Swish here. Say what's happening, Rob and Skee. Hella late, but always rewatch game. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of you guys out there. And we made it to the end of the card. A lot of WNBA games.
Yeah.
Action-packed slate. 6 games. So it's a good night to go to the casino and watch them all today. Now we can move it on over. Well, before we move it to best bets, we do have some stuff we can promote today, right? So it is $5 Tuesday. I do have a play in the W up. You guys can check it out. You guys can see the link to both of our pages in the bottom of the, what is it? The ticker there at the bottom. And I've hit 11 of my last 12 bets. So I have 4 at least today. So if you want to check it out, see maybe, how one play goes, $5 Tuesday is a good way to check either Rob or myself. And this one should still be good. 30 days of winning picks for just 14. Pretty sure it's like $100 off is what the deal is. But, if you want to roll with either one of us, you think, the streak is going to continue to head upwards, and this is a good way to do it. Today, I personally have 4 bets already made. I've been doing one or a couple a day, really, last couple of days, but one a day, really. But today, I can't ignore it. It's 6 games of stuff I like. Shooters got to shoot, man. So on that note, move to best bets. Veno, I'll ask you if there's anything I missed or anything else you would like to promote. And if you have a best bet for the show, we'd love to hear it. If you don't, it is all good.
Yeah, I do have a $5 play in the W up as well over at wagertalk.com. I had my first 5% play in the WNBA going today, so that's over there as well. And shooters got to shoot. I like it, Skee, because I have 4 plays up as well. I saw the card and liked what I saw, so I think we're on pretty good wavelengths here together today. So if you want to check it out again, you can see the links to both our pages down the bottom. Best bet for the show. Have to leave you with something because I like so much here. I'm just going to go back to the Chicago-Washington game, the first half. I do think Washington's in a real good position to retaliate from what happened to them on Sunday against the Dream. It's hard to come off these 7-day layoffs. I know you've said it before, Skee. I don't know who the schedule maker is for the WNBA, but in a 13-team league, you're going to give 2 teams 7 days off. It just seems crazy. But that's what happened to the Mystics. They didn't look good. Their best players didn't shoot well. I think they shoot much better tonight against a soft Chicago defense. So I'm going to play Washington as the best bet for the show. First half, we're going to shorten it up here, minus the 2.5.
All right, good stuff from Veno. For myself, just looking to see, I like to give you guys something where you can get around the same line at least. Let's see here. We are going to go. We'll go with Connecticut and Indiana. I do still see, make sure you line shot. There are 2 165.5 out there. Same number that I got. I mean, Caitlin Clark's going to bring the pace. The offense will look a lot better than what we saw the past week or two with her off the court, just like it did versus Liberty. And Connecticut, they will be paced up in this game. And Indiana Fever's defense is not good either. So over 165.5 will be my best bet for this show. I think we did a pretty good job. We talked about the 6 games. Took us a little bit more time today, 36 minutes, but I think we did a great job. So, Veno, always good talking these games out with you. Appreciate you taking the time to do that. Chat, you guys are awesome. Always appreciate you all sharing your info, your insight, and just being good people. You guys help make the show what it is. So we'll be back here again. I mean, tomorrow we do have one game. So we'll be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll catch you guys then. Good luck on all your